Second week of the preseason recap between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland at the Dog Pound. A short thing that I always like to say is that this is the first time I've ever seen the Eagles wear green in a preseason game. They're green jerseys during a preseason game. And, I've seen them wear green pants one time, usually white jerseys. The Eagles usually wear white because in the preseason it's during the summer, and during the summer you want to wear light colors. And then during the winter you want to wear dark colors. The Eagles have changed that up a little bit, but during the preseason they always exclusively wear white. But I guess they were wearing green this time because the Browns do that. So I think one time the Eagles wore their black jerseys. I think it was 2014 against the Patriots. And I don't know why they did that. I literally have no idea. I know that they couldn't wear their green jerseys until midseason because Nike was having trouble adapting to their midnight green color. But it was a relatively uneventful preseason game. I think both teams had 3 possessions in the first half, long drives. Browns scored 3 times. Eagles scored twice. We'll kind of get to why they scored 3 times. Or why they kicked a field goal at the end of the half. But I guess some of my major takeaways of this game is that I think Gardner Minshew is a relatively decent backup. I think that we should keep him on the team. A lot of people are talking about, the Eagles should trade him for like a running back or like a safety. I don't think we should do that unless we get a good deal, because the thing that I know is that it's good to have a decent backup, because a lot of these teams, they fail during the season because their starter gets injured and they don't know what to do. I would rather not have that happen to us. I think that Gardner Minshew is more than qualified to be Jalen Hurts' backup, and I'd rather have him on the team instead of, risking something like that, because I don't have that much confidence in Jalen Hurts. And sure, I don't have that much confidence in Gardner Minshew either, but if Gardner Minshew happens to be the backup, I'm way more fine with that than I am with Reed Sinnett. I think that Gardner Minshew managed the game decently. He didn't make any mistakes. He almost made a few mistakes, but I'm not really worried about it at his capacity. Both teams didn't play their starting teams at all, so I'm not really worried about it in that capacity. Boston Scott and Gainwell, I don't think either of them would be a good third down, pounded up the middle back. I'd be really scared if that was the situation that we had with both guys, especially if Boston Scott, our smallest guy, his best chance is just leaping over everybody like Brian Westbrook style, which he happened to do on a touchdown. But I'm just not confident in that. Hopefully Miles Sanders comes back, or hopefully we're able to do something at the running back position to just get someone who plows through. I still can't believe that Jordan Howard is not on this team. He did such great things for this team when he was available last season. What's that one? Huntley. That guy just doesn't work for me. He just doesn't do anything for me. He doesn't have that burst. He's just kind of like an average running back. He doesn't really have many intangibles. Kenneth Walker is way better. I have no idea why Huntley is starting over Walker. I know this is like a 4th running back kind of issue, but I have no idea why that's happening. Huntley just doesn't really do anything for me. I'm sure he's a great guy, but I would not be happy if he was the third down back. Walker's just way better. That's just as far as I can see. He's just way better. But the backup offensive line was doing a really good job bullying the defensive line of the Cleveland Browns. Juergens, our backup center, oh my gosh. He's been the shining star in preseason. I don't think there's been anybody who's been playing on the team who's been better than him. I honestly think that when we play the Dolphins during our last preseason game, I think that dude should just sit out. I really do. I don't think we can risk getting that dude injured. He was playing like a beast. He was putting guys on the ground. He was pancaking dudes. There's nothing more that I could say about him. He's been a really good pick, and I hope that he continues to improve as things go on. Inversely, our defense got absolutely bullied by the Browns. I can't tell you a single person who played on the offensive line or running back for the Browns, but they absolutely bullied the Eagles. It looked like the Eagles were way too aggressive. They had a chance to make a lot of plays, but they didn't because they played too aggressively. They didn't play sound football. It seemed like they were overthinking things. The two Philadelphia Eagles rookies, Nakobe Dean and Jordan Davis, who everybody was raving about last week, they really didn't do much this week. And that's okay because they're rookies. I think a lot of people already put their busts in the Hall of Fame. I'm always like, dude, just calm down. Just take it back an inch because these guys are young. You can't really go ahead and expect much from them with what I would call a very little experience in the NFL. Just give these dudes a chance to develop. People are already crowning Nakobe Dean to be Micah Parsons or better than Micah Parsons. Dude's not better than Micah Parsons, but you know what? That's okay. And I'm saying this as just a complete realist. He's not as good as Micah Parsons, but that's okay. What else did I have to say about the game? There was a play at the end of the third quarter, I think, where it was Reed Sinnett, who was struggling at the third string quarterback position, who threw the ball deep to Devin Allen, who was in the Olympics. I think he's the guy who played for Oregon, but he just absolutely blew by the defender, did a post, perfect throw, jumped to make the catch. He led him a little bit too much, but he still made the catch, so it's good. And he made the touchdown, put the Eagles up 21-20, and nothing else happened after that. I think the only thing that I was really perplexed about when it came to the game was their head coach's thought process when it came to the game. Not very many people know this, but when you're watching one of those games on NFL Network and you're not in that specific market, you're always listening to the home team's broadcast. So if the game was in Philadelphia, we would be listening to the Philadelphia Eagles network broadcast. But since it was in Cleveland, we were listening to their broadcast. And the broadcasters brought up the fact that Kevin Stefanski is trying to win every preseason game he plays. And I was kind of perplexed about that. I was like, what? Why are you trying to win preseason games? Unless you're the Baltimore Ravens, who have like that huge long streak of preseason wins, you don't see me even thinking about winning preseason. Sorry, the Falcons-Jets game is on. You don't even have me thinking about winning the preseason games. And it showed in the game. It didn't make any sense to me because at one point at the end of the half, right, Gardner Minshew almost threw a pick six on 4th and 3. We went for it, which I agree with because it's preseason. Why not try out, a specific scenario? Well, there was 1 second on the clock. The Browns had the ball at the 1, and I was like, why aren't you going for it? Why aren't you going for it? Why aren't you trying some specific scenario? This game doesn't count. Instead, they kicked a field goal. I was like, what? What kind of scenario do you want there? What are you looking at there? You have chances to kick other field goals in specific games. That doesn't make any sense to me. You go for it and you get it, good. You know that specific scenario works. You don't get it, good, because the game doesn't count. It doesn't make any sense to me. And to prove that Nick Sirianni, he wasn't trying to win a preseason game, was we had like a 3rd and 8, and we could have made the clock milk down more, but instead he went for a pass. To test out a scenario. I just don't understand it. And everyone who replied to me was like, oh, it's the Browns. Oh, it's the Browns. What do you expect? That just doesn't make any sense to me.